Hey champs of ExamsNet, welcome to the question series of ExamsNet. Students, you must have explored our website www.examsnet.com. This site is a great place for you to practice your entrance exam question papers because here you will find so many entrance exam question papers along with their detailed PDF solutions. And you must download our app. The link is available in the description box. So today, students, we will be solving JEE Main 22nd January 2025 shift first paper. Okay, so in this particular video I'll be solving the physics part of the paper. So starting with the very first question of the physics part, that is question number 26. An electron is made to enter symmetrically between two parallel and equally but oppositely charged metal plates, each of 10 centimeter length. The electron emerge out of the electric field region with a horizontal component of velocity. If the magnitude of the electric field between the plates is 9.1 volt per centimeter, then the vertical component of the velocity of electron. Okay, so we are asked to find the vertical component of the velocity of electron. So student, first of all, this question is from the chapter of electrostatics. So according to question, there are two parallel and equally but oppositely charged plate, means two parallel. If it is positively charged, this plate is positively charged, then this plate will be negatively charged. Okay, let us say this is the vertical component Vx and this horizontal component Vx, and this is vertical component Vy. Okay, let us say an electron is moving between these two parallel plates having horizontal component of velocity Vx and vertical component of velocity Vy. So students, the horizontal component will remain same. Okay, horizontal component of the velocity will remain same. So the approach is that first we will find the time. Okay, so time will be equals to length over horizontal velocity Vx. So length is given as what? 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter means 0.1 over Vx. Vx is given as 10 to the power 6 meter per second. So it is 10 to the power 6. So let us say this is equation number 1. So this is the time t as 0.1 into 10 to, over 10 to the power 6 meter per second. Now we have to find the vertical component Vy. So vertical component, we will apply the equation of motion, that is Vy is equals to Uy plus Ay into T. That is Vy is equals to Uy plus Ay into T. So it's at the initial state, the electron is at rest. So Vy will be equals to 0 plus Ay. Ay is acceleration. So it will be equals to force over mass into this T. So it will be equals to force over mass. Force is charge of electron into E over mass m into T. So E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 into E. E is what? 9.1 volt per centimeter. Volt per centimeter means into 10 to the power 2 over mass. Mass is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 into time. Time is what? This 0.1 over 10 to the power 6. Okay, 0.1 over 10 to the power 6. So solving it, we get Vy is equals to 0. This will be 1.6 into 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 19 plus 2 into 0.1 means it will become 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 plus 1 plus 6. So solving it, we get Vy is equals to, this will cancels out, 1.6 into 10 to the power 7. Okay, so our correct answer is 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 means 16 into 10 to the power 6 meter per second, means option B is the correct answer. Now moving on towards the next question. 27, an amount of ice of mass 10 to the power minus 3 kg and temperature minus 10 degrees Celsius is transformed to vapor of temperature 110 degrees Celsius by applying heat. The total amount of work required for this conversion. Okay. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of properties of solids and liquid. Okay, so we are asked to find the work required for this conversion, and we are given with specific heat of ice, specific heat of water, of steam, and latent heat of ice and latent heat of steam. Okay, so first of all, according to question, an amount of ice of mass 10 to the power minus 3 kg and temperature 10 to the power minus 10 kg is transformed to vapor of temperature 110 at temperature 110 degrees Celsius. So it means, first of all, there is ice at what? Minus 10 degrees Celsius. Then it will be convert into ice at 0 degrees Celsius to ultimately reach this temperature. Okay. Then it will convert into water at 0 degrees Celsius. Then it will convert into water at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then vapor at 100 degrees Celsius, and at last vapor at 110 degrees Celsius. Okay. So we have to find the total work done in this entire process. Okay. So for this, the work done will be equals to Q is equals to weight is mass is 10 to the power minus 3 kg. So it will be 10 to the power minus 3 into. First of all, ice is at minus 10 degrees Celsius and it is converting to ice at 0 degrees Celsius. So, and we are given with specific heat of ice is 2100 joule per kg per Kelvin. So it will be 2100 into 10 because temperature is changing from minus 10 to 0. Okay. Then plus, now the temperature is changing from 0 degrees Celsius from ice to water 0 degrees Celsius, and we are given the latent heat of ice is 3.35 into 10 to the power 5. So it will be 3.35 into 10 to the power 5, and there is no change in Celsius. Temperature means 0 degree, 0 degree. So there will be no change in temperature. Plus, now it is changing from 0 degrees Celsius water to 100 degrees Celsius, and we are given with specific heat of water is 4180. So it will be 4180, and change in temperature is ms delta T. ms delta T. So change in temperature is 100. So it will be 4180 into 100 plus. Now the temperature is changing from 100 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. No change in temperature, but the state is changing from water to vapor. So for water to vapor, the latent heat of steam is given as 2.25 into 10 to the power 6. So it will be 2.25 into 10 to the power 6. No change in temperature. Okay. Now from 100 degrees Celsius vapor to 110 means change in temperature is 10. So it will be equals to plus this 1920 specific heat of steam. So 1920 and change in temperature is 10. Now solving it, we get Q is equals to 10 to the power minus 3. It will be 21 into 10 to the power 3 plus 3.35 into 10 to the power 5 plus 418 into 10 to the power 3 plus 2.25 into 10 to the power 6 plus 192 into 10 to the power 2. Okay. Now solving it, taking 10 to the power 2 common. So we get plus 2, it will be 21 into 10 plus 3.35 into 10 to the power 3 plus 418 into 10 plus 2.25 into 10 to the power this 4 plus 192. So solving it, we get total work done for this conversion. It will be equals to 3043.2 joule. Okay, this is our final answer. So the correct option is 3043. It means option B is the correct answer. Now next question 28. If B is the magnetic field and mu naught is permeability of free space, then the dimension of B over mu naught is. So this is very basic question and it is from the chapter of magnetic effects of current and magnetism. Okay, current and magnetism. Now we are asked to find the dimension of B over mu naught. So for a current carrying loop, B is equals to, we know that it is equals to mu naught I. This is a very direct formula based question, mu naught I over 2R. So B over mu naught will be equals to I over R, because 2 is constant na, I over R. So it will be equals to I over R, A L minus 1. Okay. So the correct answer is option B. Now next question 29. A bob of mass M is suspended at a point O by a light string of length L and left to perform vertical motion, means circular motion as shown in the figure. Okay. Initially, by applying the horizontal velocity V naught at point A, the string becomes slack when the bob reaches at point D. The ratio of kinetic energy of the bob at the point B and C. So we have to find kinetic energy at B to the ratio kinetic energy at C. Okay. So this question is from the chapter of rotational motion. Now, we are given that this is a circular motion. This is given as point D and this is center O. This is point A. This is C. This is 60 degree and this is B. So applying and so given as mass, bob of mass M, let this length be L. Okay. So resolving it in terms of component. So this is 60 na? So this will be L cos 60. Okay. So it will be L by 2 and this will be also L by 2 and this will be also L by 2. So first of all, let the bob reaches from point A to point B. So if it is reaching at point A to point B, so gain in potential energy will be equals to loss in kinetic energy. So gain in potential energy means mg, this L by 2 will be equals to loss in potential energy, means loss in kinetic energy, kinetic energy of A minus kinetic energy of B. Let this is equation number 1. And now the bob reaches at point C. So for this mg, this will be L by 2, L by 2, L by 2 means 3L by 2. So mg 3L by 2 will be equals to Ka minus Kc. This is equation number 2. Now if we solve equation number 1, so Kb will be equals to Ka minus mg L by 2. So Ka is what? This is point A. So at this point, the velocity VA will be equals to under root 5GL. We all know this. Okay. So at this point, KA will be equals to half M into this V square. So it will be half M 5GL. Okay. So KA is half mg 5L minus mg L over 2. So solving it, we get Kb is equals to 2mgl. Let us say this is equation number 3. Now solving this equation number 2, again we will do the same as we have done in the previous equation. Kc will be equals to Ka minus this mg 3L by 2. So it will be Ka is what? This half mg 5L. So it will be 5 by 2 mgl minus 3 by 2 mgl. So solving it, we get Kc is equals to mgl. Let us say this is equation number 4. And we are asked to find ratio at the point B to C. So from these two equation 3 and 4, so Kb over Kc will be equals to 2 mgl over mgl. So it will be 2 by 1 means 2 ratio 1. So the correct answer is 2 ratio 1 means option D is the correct answer. Okay. Now, next question 30. A uniform circular disk of radius r and mass m is rotating about an axis perpendicular to its plane and passing through its center. A small circular path of radius r by 2 is removed from the original disk as shown in the figure. Find the moment of inertia of the remaining part of the original disk about the axis as given above. Okay. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of moment of inertia. Okay. So we are asked to find the moment of inertia of the remaining part. So according to question, we are given with, let us say this is the greater circular disk. Okay. And let us say according to question its radius is r and its mass is, let us say, m. Okay, so for this the moment of inertia I1 for complete one. Okay, so this moment of inertia will be equals to what? Mr square by 2. Okay, now according to question, a small circular part of radius r by 2 is removed from the original disk. Let us say this part, its radius is what? This r by 2. It is removed from the original disk. Okay, so if it is removed from the original disk, so disk means it will be equals to area. Okay, so its mass will become m by 4. How m by 4? As we know that mass is directly proportional to area and this area is directly proportional to r square. So if the radius is changing from capital R to r by 2, so the mass will become 1 by 4th na. So here the mass will be m by 4. Okay. So let us say by applying parallel axis theorem, so let us say this moment of inertia will be I prime. So we have to find the moment of inertia of the remaining part. Let us say I2 be the moment of inertia of the remaining part. Okay. So I2 will be equals to this mr square by 2 means complete one I1 minus, now applying parallel axis theorem, this will be, now let us say this m by 4 mass will be small m and this r by 2 radius will be, let us say this is small r. Okay. So now applying parallel axis theorem, it will be mr square by 2 plus mr square. Okay. So it will be equals to mr square by 2 minus, this will be mr square by 2 plus mr square, 3 by 2 mr square. Now since small r is what? Small m is what? Capital M by 4 and small r is capital R by 2. So solving it, we get mr square by 2 minus 3 by 2 into capital M by 4 into R square by 4. So solving it, we get mr square by 2. This will be 1 minus 3 over 16. So it will be equals to 13, 16 to the 32 mr square. So this is our final answer. So the moment of inertia of the remaining part will be 13 by 32 mr square means option C is the correct answer. Now the next question, a parallel plate capacitor of capacitance 40 microfarad is connected to a 100-volt power supply. Now the intermediate space between the plates is filled with a dielectric material of dielectric constant K equals to 2. Due to the introduction of dielectric material, the extra charge and the change in the electrostatic energy in the capacitor respectively are. Okay. So, first of all, student, this question is from the chapter of electrostatics. Now, in this question, we are asked that there is a parallel plate capacitor of capacitance for 40 microfarad. Okay, so let us say this is a parallel plate capacitor and its capacitance is given as 40 microfarad and a 100-volt connected to a 100-volt power supply. Okay, now the intermediate between the plate is filled with a dielectric material. First of all, there is no dielectric material between the parallel plate capacitor. At that time, its capacitance is given as 40 microfarad. So C at first is given as 40 microfarad. So, and now when the dielectric material is introduced between these two parallel plate capacitor having a dielectric constant K equals to 2. Okay, so the next capacitance will be K, this dielectric constant into previous capacitance. So it will be 40 into 2 means 80 microfarad. Okay, now due to the introduction of dielectric material, the extra charge and the change in the electrostatic energy in the capacitor, we have to find the extra charge and the change in the electrostatic energy. Okay, at first the capacitance is given as 40 microfarad, and when we introduce a dielectric material between the parallel plate capacitor with a dielectric constant K equals to 2, then the capacitance becomes Kc means 80 microfarad. Okay, and voltage is given as 100 volt. Okay, so the charge previous, the charge is C into V. This is a direct formula. So at first the charge is 40 microfarad means 40 into 10 to the power minus 6 farad into this 100 volt. So it will be 4 millicoulomb. Okay, at first the charge will be 4 millicoulomb, and after that when we introduce a dielectric material, at that time the charge will become C dash into V. It means 80 microfarad, 80 into 10 to the power minus 6 into 100. So it will become 8 millicoulomb. Okay, let us say this is first, this is second. So at first Q is what? 4 millicoulomb, and after the insertion of the dielectric material, the charge becomes 8 millicoulomb. Okay, so the extra charge is 4 millicoulomb. Okay, at first it is 4, and after the insertion of K equals to 2, the charge become 8 millicoulomb. So the extra charge is 4 millicoulomb, and we are asked to find the electrostatic energy as well. So we know the formula of electrostatic energy. U is equals to half CV square. Okay, let us say at initial stage U1 is equals to half CV square, and after the insertion of dielectric material it is half C dash V square. Okay, so change in the electrostatic energy delta U, it will be equals to U2 minus U1, or we can say half C dash minus C into V square. So solving it, we get half C dash is what? C dash is 80 microfarad and C is 40 microfarad. So it will be half 80 minus 40 microfarad. Okay, into V square. V is given as 100. So 100 square. So solving it, we get half. It will be 40 microfarad into 100 square. Okay. So after solving it, we get 1 by 2 into 40 into 10 to the power minus 6 into 100 square. So the answer will be 0.2 joule. Okay, these are our final answers. So among these four options, 4 millicoulomb and 0.2 joule means option C is the correct answer. Now next question 32. The work functions of cesium and lithium metals are given as 1.9 electron volt and 2.5 electron volt. Okay. If we incident a light of wavelength 550 nanometer on these two metal surfaces, then the photoelectric effect is possible for the case of. Okay. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of work, energy and power. Okay, so we have to find for which metal, either cesium or either lithium, the photoelectric effect is possible for which of these two metal. Okay, so we know that the energy means the energy of the incident photon. Energy of the incident photon. Its formula is 1240 over lambda in terms of nanometer, this electron volt energy. Okay, so according to question, the wavelength is given as 550 nanometer, so it will be 1240 over 550 nanometer. This is equals to 2.25 electron volt. Okay, so the energy will be 2.25 electron volt. So this energy is greater than the energy for work function for the cesium, but this is less than for the work function of lithium. Okay, so from this we can say that the energy of cesium is greater, the energy is greater than the work function of cesium, so the photoelectric effect will be possible only for cesium, not for lithium, because the energy is less than the work function for lithium. That's why the photoelectric effect is possible only for the case of cesium. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. Now next question 33. An electron in the ground state of hydrogen atom has the orbital radius of 5.3 into 10 to the power minus 11 meter, while that for the electron in third excited state is 8.48 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. The ratio of the de Broglie wavelength of electron in the ground state to that in the excited state is. Okay. Since it is the question of de Broglie wavelength, so this question is from the chapter of Dwell nature of matter and radiation. Okay. So now we are given with the orbital radius of hydrogen atom in the ground state and in third excited state. Okay, this is 8.48 into 10 to the power minus 10 meters. So we know that according to de Broglie hypothesis, okay, we know that 2 pi r and nth state radius, it is equals to n lambda. Okay, since we can write for both 2 pi r1 in the ground state as well as for the fourth excited state. It will be equals to 1 into lambda 1 for first, means for ground, and 4 lambda 4. Okay. Now solving 2 pi we cancel out each other. So lambda 1 over lambda 4 will be equals to 4 into r1 over r4. So from this we get r is directly proportional to n square. Okay. So therefore lambda 1 over lambda 4 will be equals to 1 by 4. So our correct answer is option it will be 1 by 4 na, so none of the answer is matching. Okay, from among these four, it is 4, 16, 3, 9, but our answer is 1 by 4, so our answer is not matching from these options. Okay, now next question 34. Which of the following circuit represent a forward bias diode? Okay, so we have to find which of these is representing a forward bias diode. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of electronic devices. And students, we know that for forward bias diode, P side should be higher than the N side, okay? P side should be higher than the N side. So here, this is P, this is N, this is P, this is N, this is P, N, P, N. Sorry, this is P and this is N, okay? And here also this is P, this is N. So in first case, P is having less, P is having less potential than this N side, so this will not be correct. And in B, this is representing forward bias, and in option C, this is also representing a forward bias. In option D, this is P, this is N. This will be not possible for forward bias PN junction diode. And here also this representing a forward bias. So only B, C and E, these diodes are representing forward bias conditions. So among these four options, B, C and E means option D. This option D is the correct answer. Okay. Now moving towards next question 35. A line charge of length A by 2 is kept at the center of an edge BC of a cube. We are given with a cube A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H having edge length A as shown in the figure. Means this cube is having edge length A. Okay. This is a cube and it is having edge length of A. This is A, this is B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So cube length is given as A, and if the density of line charge lambda c per unit length, then the total electric flux through all the faces of the cube. We have to find the flux phi. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of electrostatics. Okay, and we know that the formula for flux according to Gauss theorem, the flux will be equals to 1 over epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed by the surface. So our approach is to apply this direct formula, but before applying this formula, we will solve this question. Okay, so we are given with line charge density of line charge lambda c per unit length. Lambda c per unit length is the line charge density. So the charge of the line charge will be equals to what? If lambda c per unit length is the line charge density, so the charge of the line charge will be equals to a lambda by 2. Okay, it will be equals to a lambda by 2. Now the line charge is having a length of a by 2. That's why we have written a lambda by 2. Okay. Now the portion of the wire inside the cube will be equals to, since it is a cube, let us draw the similar cube, the attaching the first cube. There will be four cube na, which is attached to this cube. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So among these four, only 1/4 part of first cube is of only 1/4 part of a cube is attaching to the previous cube. So from this, the portion of the wire inside the cube will be 1/4. Okay. So from this, the charge enclosed will be equals to 1 by 4 of the charge of the line charge, means a lambda by 2. It will be equals to a lambda over a, and we have to find the flux from all the faces na. So flux phi will be equals to 1 over epsilon times the total charge enclosed. So it will be equals to 1 over epsilon times a lambda by 8. So this is our final answer. Flux will be equals to 1 over 8 epsilon naught lambda into a, means option D is the correct answer. Now question number 36. Given below are two statement 1, statement 2. Okay. So statement 1 is saying the equivalent EMF of two non-ideal batteries connected in parallel is smaller than either of the two EMF. And statement 2 is saying the equivalent internal resistance of the two non-ideal batteries connected in parallel is smaller than the internal resistance of the either of the two batteries. First one is saying is smaller than either of the two EMF, and second one is saying is smaller than the internal resistance of the two batteries. Okay, so first of all, this question is from the chapter of electromagnetic induction and alternating current. Okay, so first of all, we will draw a simple circuit diagram. So let us say this is epsilon 1, EMF 1, and this is R1, and this is epsilon 2, EMF 2, and this is R2. Okay, now according to the first statement, equivalent EMF of the two non-ideal batteries will be smaller than either of the two EMF, and statement second is saying is smaller than the internal resistance of either of the two batteries. So we know that for equivalent EMF, the formula will be E1 over R1, E2 over R2 over 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. And for equivalent resistance, the formula will be R1 R2 over R1 plus R2. So let us take an example. For example, if R1 equals to 1 and R2 is equals to 1, then R equivalent will be 1 over 2. Okay, from this condition, if we take R1 equals to 1 and R2 equals to 1, then R equivalent will be 1 by 2. It means it is smaller than either of the two. So statement 2 is true. Okay. Now in statement 1, they are saying is smaller than either of the two EMF. So let us take an example. If epsilon 1 is equals to 1 and epsilon 2 equals to 1. We are taking just an example. Okay. So E equivalent will be equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 over 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. So it will be equals to 1. But in our case, if are taking this case, the equivalent resistance is also equal to the EMF of the two individual. So statement first is false. So first one is false and second one is true. Means from the given four option, statement one is false and statement second is true. Means option first is the correct answer. Now next question 37. Which of the following resistivity rho volt per second temperature T curves is most suitable to be used in the wire bound standard resistance? Okay, so it is asking for the wire bound standard resistor. So bound standard resistor, we know that the resistivity will remain nearly constant. Okay, nearly constant for bound standard register. So if the resistivity will remain nearly constant, so from this the option A is the correct answer. Okay, now next question 38. A closed organ and an open organ tube are filled by two different gases having same bulk modulus but different densities rho 1 and rho 2 respectively. The frequency of ninth harmonic of the closed tube is identical with the fourth of the open tube. If the length of the closed tube is 10 centimeter, density ratio of the gases is rho 1 over rho 2 is given as 1 over 16. Then we have to find the length of the open tube. Length of the closed tube is given as 10 centimeter. We have to find length of the open. Okay, so first of all, this question is from the chapter of oscillation and waves. Okay, we know that the formula for the closed pipe and open pipe. For closed and for open, the for closed pipe the formula is Vc over 4LC, length of the closed pipe, and for open the formula is V naught over 2 L naught. Okay, it is O representing for open, so V naught over 2 L naught. Okay, and the question is saying ninth harmonic of the closed, frequency of ninth harmonic of the closed is identical to fourth. Ninth means 9 VC over 4 LC, frequency is equals to fourth one, 4 V naught over 2 L naught. Okay. First of all, we know that the V is equals to under root of B over this row. This formula we all know. Okay. So using this formula, we can write VC over V naught is equals to under root of rho 2 over rho 1. Since we are given that the bulk modulus is same. Okay. Bulk modulus is same. So for same bulk modulus for closed VC and for open V naught is equals to rho 2 over rho 1. Okay. And it will be equals to, the ratio is given as 1:16. So for 1:16, VC over V naught is equals to 4. Now applying this condition, VC over V naught equals to 4, in this equation we get I naught will be equals to 8 over 9 IC V naught over VC. Now solving it, we get 8 over 9 IC V naught over VC means 4. It will be, and we are given, sorry, it will be L naught. L naught equals to 8 over 9 LC into V naught over VCL. L naught will be equals to 8 over 9 LC into 4, and we are given LC as 10 centimeter. So solving it, we get 8 over 9 into 10 into 4. So it will be equals to 8 over 9. Sorry, it is V naught over VC. So it will be 1 by 4, not 4. 1 by 4 to the 8. So it will be 20 over 9 centimeter. So L naught will be equals to 20 over 9 centimeter, means option B is the correct answer. Now the next question 39. Given is a thin convex lens of glass, refractive index mu, and each side having radius of curvature r. One side is polished for complete reflection. At what distance from the lens an object be placed on the optic axis so that the image gets formed on the object itself? Okay. So this question is from the chapter of optics only. So we are given with a convex lens of glass of refractive index mu. Let us say this is, and each side having radius of curvature r. If each side is having a radius of curvature r, one side is polished for complete reflection. One side is polished for complete reflection. At what distance from the lens an object be placed on the optic axis so that the image gets formed on the object itself? Okay. If the radius of curvature of both of each side is having r, so we know the formula for it. It will be 1 over F equivalent. First of all, we will find the F equivalent. It will be equals to 1 over Fm minus 2 over FL. Okay. So first we know that 1 over FL is equals to mu minus 1 over r, since it is having refractive index mu, plus 1 over r, since both the side is having radius of curvature r. So it will be equals to 2 over r mu minus 1. Okay. And 1 over fm. We know that fm is equals to minus r by 2. Okay. So for this, applying in this equation, we get 1 over F equivalent, it will be equals to minus 2 over R from this formula, minus 2 over R minus 2 into this 2 over R mu minus 1. So when we solve it, we get minus 2 over R 1 plus 2 mu minus 2. So it will be equals to minus 2 over R 2 mu minus 1. So 1 over F equivalent is equals to this. So F will be equals to minus R over 2 mu minus 1. Okay. Since the other side of this lens is polished, so it will behave as a concave lens. And we know that for the concave lens, it will be like this. This will be F and this will be C. So it will be equals to 2F na, for a concave lens. So according to question, at what distance from the lens an object be placed on the optic axis so that the image get formed on the object itself? So it will be equals to 2F only. So for 2F, we will get F equivalent means 2F. So it will be equals to minus R over 2 mu minus 1. So image will be formed at, to form the image on the object itself, the object should be placed at minus R over 2 mu minus 1. So the answer is R over 2 mu minus 1 means option C is the correct answer. Okay. Now next question 40. Two spherical bodies of same material having radii 0.2 meter and 0.8 meter are placed in same atmosphere. The temperature of the smaller body is 800 Kelvin and temperature of bigger body is 400 Kelvin. If the energy radiated from the smaller body is E, the energy radiated from the bigger body is, and we have to assume effect of the surrounding temperature to be negligible. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of thermodynamics. Okay, so there are two spherical bodies. Let us say this is smaller one and this is greater one. Its radii is 0.2 meter and its radii is 0.8 meter. Okay, so let us say if 0.2 meter is considered as R, let us say this is P1 and this is P2. If it is considered as R, so P2 is having the radii of 4R. Okay, and we know the formula P is equals to sigma epsilon A T raised to the power 4. And smaller bodies having temperature 800 Kelvin and bigger bodies having temperature 400 Kelvin. So let us say this is T1 and this is T2. If T2 is 400 Kelvin, so T1 is equals to 2T2. Okay, so just put these values in the formula. So this will not change, this will not change, and area is directly proportional to R square. So P1 will be equals to R1 square over T1 power 4 and P2 will be equals to R2 square into T2 power 4. Since if R1 is this R and R2 is 4R, so just put the values. So it will be equals to R square into 4R square means 16R square into T1 raised to the power 4. T1 means T1 will be 2T2 na. So 2T2 raised to the power 4 over T2 raised to the power 4. So it will be, this will cancel out and T2 power 4, T2 power 4 cancel out. So it will be 1 over 16 into 2 raised to the power 4. So solving it, we get P1 is equals to P2. Okay. So our correct answer is P1 is equals to P2 means energy will be same, means option A is the correct answer. Now the next question is 41. In the diagram given below, there are three lenses formed. Considering negligible thickness of each of them as compared to R1 and R2, that is the radii of curvature for the upper and lower surfaces of the glass lens. Okay, the power of the combination is, so we have to find the total power of this combination where there are three lenses are forming. Okay, and we know that the formula for the power combination of lenses, the power formula is just algebraic sum of all the powers, means total power P will be equals to P1 plus P2 plus P3. Okay, P will be equals to P1 plus P2 plus P3. Okay, so first of all, this question is from the chapter of optics. Okay, so we are given three lenses. So mu of the water is given as 4/3, of the glass is given as 3/2, and of the water again given as 4/3. Let us draw this figure as, suppose it is like this. Okay, like this. So let us consider this as R1 and this as R2. Okay, and we are given this mu as 4/3 and this mu as 3/2 and again this mu as 4/3. So total power P equivalent will be equals to P1 plus P2 plus P3. So P1 means this mu minus 1. So power formula is equals to mu minus 1. So it will be equals to 4/3 minus 1 into 1 over R1. Okay, plus P2. P2 will be equals to 1/2 minus 1 over R1 and plus 1 over R2 plus P3. P3 will be equals to of this 4/3 minus 1 into minus 1 over R2. Okay, now solving it, we get 4/3 minus 1 means 1 over 3. Okay, into this 1 over R1 and plus this will be equals to 1/2 1 by R2 minus 1 over R1, and this will be equals to again 4/3 minus 1 means 1/3 into minus of 1 by R2. So when we solve it, we get taking, sorry, this will be plus. Taking 1/3 common from first and third. So 1/3, it will be 1 over R1 minus 1 over R2 plus 1/2, or we can say minus of 1/2, 1 over R1 minus 1 over R2. Now taking 1 over R1 minus 1 over R2 common. So 1/3 minus 1/2, it will be equals to minus 1 of 6. 1 over R1 minus 1 over R2. So our equivalent power will be minus 1/6, 1 over R1 minus 1 over R2, means option second is the correct answer. Now next question 42. A small point of mass m is placed at a distance 2r from the center O of a big uniform solid sphere of mass m. Okay, and radius r. The gravitational force on M, this point, due to capital M is F1, a spherical part of radius R3, means this part, this is R/3 is removed from the big sphere as shown in the figure, and the gravitational force on M due to remaining part of capital M is found to be F2. Okay, so we have to find the ratio of F1 to F2. So this question is from the chapter of gravitation. So how we'll solve this question? So to solve this question, let us draw the figure. This is the first the solid sphere. Let us say its center is here. Okay, And according to question, this mass is this point is of mass m, and this is of capital M. And the distance between this center and this is given as 2r according to question. Okay. At first, when its radius is r, 2r means this will be r and this will be r. When its radius is r, so it is so the force is F1, means this solid sphere of mass m is exerting a force F1 in small of mass of small m, so the force will be in this one direction. So for it, F1 will be equals to G capital M small m over r square. R means this r plus this r, means total distance is 2r. Na? So 2r square means 4r square. Let us say this is equation number 1. Now, according to question, a spherical part of radius r by 3 is removed from the big sphere. Okay, now this is big sphere, this is center, and a sphere of radius r by 3 is removed from this. So this point of mass m. So we have to find first this F2 force, which is this sphere. Let us say its mass is m prime. M prime is exerting on m in this direction. Okay. So first of all, we have to find this F2. So to find F2, at first we will find, let us say, now this will be the remaining portion. According to question, this distance is 2r and this is r. Okay. So first of all, we will find the gravity at point A, means at this point. Okay. So the gravity at point A will be total gravity due to the big solid sphere minus gravity due to the removed sphere. Okay, so it will be equals to, this is total sphere gravity gm over 4r square, like this, and minus removed sphere. So for removed sphere, we have considered m prime to be the mass of this removed sphere. Na? So first we will find the mass of this. As we know that the mass is directly proportional to volume, means it will be directly proportional to r cube. Now the radius is r by 3. If the radius is r by 3, so the mass will be proportional to r by 3, means 1 over 27. So m prime, it will be equals to m over 27. So here we will write g into m over 27 over this r square. R square means r by 3. Total distance is r by 3 plus this r. So it will be r by 3 plus r. So it will be 4r by 3. Its whole square. R square, na? So this r square will become 16r square over 9. So this equation will become, gravity will be, this will be gm over 4r square minus this 9 over 16, na? 9 over 16 r square into g into this m over 27. Okay. So 9 3s are 27. So solving it, we get, taking gm over 4r square common. So we will get 1 minus, this will be 3s are 12. 1 over 12. So it will be equals to 11 by 12 gm over 4r square. Okay. Now F2 force will be 11 by 12 gm over 4r square into m. Okay. Let us say this is equation number 2. So we have to find the ratio of F1 ratio F2. So F1 over F2 will be equals to, F1 is what? Gmm over 4r square. So it will be gmm over 4r square over this 11 over 12 gmm over 4r square. So they will cancel out each other. So F1 ratio F2 will be 12 over 11. Okay. So here option C is the correct answer. Now next question 43. Given are two statement. Statement 1, in a vernier caliper, one vernier scale division is always smaller than one main scale division. And statement 2 is the vernier constant is given by one main scale division multiplied by the number of vernier scale division. So we have to choose the correct answer. So this question is from the chapter of physics and measurements. Okay. So according to first statement, in a vernier caliper, one vernier scale division is always smaller than the one main scale division. But we know that one vernier scale division is not always smaller than one main scale division. So this first statement is wrong. Okay. And the second statement, the vernier constant is given by one main scale division multiplied by the number of vernier scale division. We know that vernier constant is equals to one main scale division minus one vernier scale division. So statement second is also not true. So from these four options, option 2 means both statement 1 and statement 2 are false. Now question 44. Given below are two statements, one is labeled as assertion and the other is labeled as reason. So assertion is given as if Young double slit experiment is performed in an optically denser medium than air, then the consecutive fringes come closer. It means the question is saying the fringe will decrease. Okay. And reason is given as the speed of light reduces in an optically denser medium than the air while its frequency does not change. Okay. So we know that the fringe width beta is given as lambda d over d. Okay. If it is placed in an optically denser medium for a given medium, this beta will be equals to lambda d over d mu. This refractive index will come. So when the refractive index increases, so this fringe width decreases. It means assertion is true. Okay, assertion is true. And reason is given as the speed of light decreases in optically denser medium than air while its frequency does not. Yes, the reason is given as the refractive index increases, the speed of light decreases. So reason is the correct one for this assertion. So from this, the option A, that is both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. This is the correct answer. Now question 45. We are given with this circuit diagram and sliding contact of a potentiometer is in the middle of the potentiometer wire having resistance 1 ohm as shown in the figure and external resistance of Re equals to 2 ohm as connected via the sliding contact. The electric current in the circuit is okay. So this question is from the chapter of current electricity. So as given in the question, the potentiometer is in the middle of the potentiometer. In the middle of the potentiometer means from here the resistance is 0.5 ohm and here also the resistance is 0.5 ohm. So we have to find the electric current in the circuit. So electric current we will find through the Ohm's law. V equals to IR, I equals to V over R. We are given with V. We have to find the equivalent resistance of this circuit. So for equivalent resistance, these two are connected in parallel. Their resultant is connected in series with this 0.5. So R equivalent means 0.5 ohm is connected in parallel with the 2 ohm and then the resultant of this is connected in series with 0.5 ohm. So first we will solve this. It will be equals to 0.5 means 1 by 2 0.5, yes, 1 by 2 is in parallel of 2. So it will be equals to R1, 1 over R will be equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. So it will be equals to, for parallel, okay, it will be equals to 1 over 1 by 2 means 2 plus 1 over R2 means 1 by 2. It will be 4 plus 1, 5 by 2. So R parallel will be equals to 2 by 5. Okay. Now this is in series with this 0.5. So R equivalent will be equals to 2 by 5 plus 0.5 means again 1 by 2. So it will be equals to 9 over 10 ohm. Now from the Ohm's law, V equals to IR. So electric current will be V. V is given as 0.9 volt. So it will be 0.9 volt over R. R is 9 by 10. Means again 0.9. So it will be equals to 1 ampere. So our answer is 1 ampere. Means option B is the correct answer. Now the next question is question 46. The position vector of two 1 kg particles A and B are given by RA and RB, okay, respectively. Alpha 1 is given as this, alpha 2, alpha 3, beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3, where T is time, N and P are constant. At T equals to 1 second, modulus of velocity of A will be equals to modulus of VB, and the velocities VA and VB of the particles are orthogonal to each other. Orthogonal means dot product will be equals to 0. Okay. So at t equals to 1 second, the magnitude of angular momentum of particle A with respect to the position of the particle B is given by this. So we have to find the value of L. Okay. So this question is from the chapter of kinematics. Now, according to question, the mass is given as 1 kg means mass of A is equals to mass of B as given in the question. It is 1 kg, okay? And we are given R, a position vector of A as alpha 1 T square iota cap plus alpha 2 T j cap plus alpha 3 T k cap. And position vector of B particle is given as beta 1 T iota cap plus beta 2 T square j cap plus beta 3 T k cap. Okay. And alpha 1 is given as 1 meter per second square. Alpha 2 is this, 3. Alpha 3 is this. Beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3 values are given as. So first of all, we will find the VA, means velocity of particle of A. So it will be equals to del by del T of RA. So del by del T of position vector of RA. So it will be equals to 2T and 2T alpha 1 iota cap plus alpha 2 j cap plus alpha 3 k cap. Okay. Yes. And we are given with alpha 1 as 1, alpha 2, 3, alpha 3, 2. Means 1, 3, 2. So it will be equals to 2T iota cap plus alpha 2. Alpha 2 is given as 3 meter per second square. 3 j cap and alpha 3 is given as 2 meter per second. 2 k cap. Okay. So V a velocity of A vector. Let us say this is equation number 1. And now velocity of B will be equals to d RB over dt. So it will be equals to beta 1 iota cap plus beta 2 2t j cap plus beta 3 k cap. Okay. So beta 1 is given as -1, beta 3 4p, and sorry, beta 1 is given as 2, beta 2 is given as -1, and beta 3 is given as 4p. Okay, and in this question we are given n and p are constant. So where is n? Because here it is p, so n must be there. Alpha 1 equals to 1, alpha 2 equals to 3, alpha 3 is 2. I think alpha 2 is 3n. Okay, there is misprint in the equation. So alpha 2 is 3n j cap. So beta 1 is 2 na. So it will be 2 iota cap, and beta 2 is -1. It means it will be -2 t j cap, and beta 3 is 4p. So it will be 4p k cap. So this is VB. Okay, let us say this is equation number 2. Now, according to question, these two are orthogonal to each other. Orthogonal means VA dot VB is equals to 0 since they are orthogonal. So VA dot VB means 2t iota cap plus 3n j cap plus 2k cap dot product 2 iota cap minus 2t j cap plus 4p k cap. So it will be equals to 2 to the 4t plus 3 to the 6 and t 4 to the 8p. It must be equals to 0. And according to question, at t equals to 1 second. So at t equals to 1 second, it will be 4 at t equals to 1 second. So 4 minus 6n plus 8p is equals to 0. Or we can write it as -2, 2 minus 3n plus 4p is equals to 0. Let us say this is equation number 3. And from here we can write 3n is equals to 2 plus 4p. Let us say this is equation number 4. Okay. Now, according to question, at t equals to 1 second, modulus of velocity of A is equals to modulus of velocity of B. Means VA is equals to VB as given in the question. So modulus of VA is this. So its modulus will be 2 square, 3 square at t equals to 1 second. Okay, 2 square plus 3n square plus 2 square. So it will be equals to 4 plus 9n square plus 4 equals to modulus of VB. VB is 2 square to at t equals to 1 second, 2 square plus 2 square plus 4 square. So it will be equals to 4 plus 4 plus 16p square. So when we solve it, we will get 4 plus 4 plus 9n square. So it will be, and from here 2 plus 4p is 3n. So here we can write it as 2 plus 4p whole square is equals to 16p square. Okay. So from first we can write 4 plus 16p square plus 16p is equals to 16p square. Okay, from this equation number 4, from this equation we write it as 2 plus 4p whole square equals to 16p square. So it will be 4 plus 16p square plus 16p equals to 16p square. So solving it, we get 16p square cancels out. So 16p is equals to minus 4. Therefore, p is equals to minus of 1 by 4. Let us say this is equation number 5. Now, since 3n equals to 2 plus 4p, 3n equals to 2 plus 4p. So 3n will be 2 plus 4 minus of 1 by 4. So 4 cancels out. It means 3n is equals to 2 minus of 1. So n will be equals to 1 by 3. Let us say this is equation number 6. So, and according to question, the magnitude of the angular momentum of the particle A with respect to the position of the particle is this. So, according to question, L is equals to mass of A into position vector of A by B cross product of position vector of A. So, at t equals to 1 second, position vector of A by B will be equals to uh, what is alpha 1 t square iota cap alpha 2 t. So it will be equals to alpha 1 minus beta 1 iota cap plus alpha 2 minus beta 2 j cap plus alpha 3 minus beta 3 k cap. Okay, so we can write it as alpha 1 minus beta 1 iota cap plus alpha 2 minus beta 2 j cap plus alpha 3 minus beta 3 k cap. Okay, so from here we can write alpha 1, value of alpha 1 is alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Alpha 1 is 1, alpha 2 1 3 2, and 2 minus 1 4. 1 3 2 2 minus 1 and 4. So solving it we get k cap. So solving it we get minus of iota cap plus of 2j cap, and it will be 2 minus 4 or something else. Alpha 3 beta 3. Alpha 3 is 2 and beta 3 4p. 4p means, and alpha 2 is 3 and n is 1 by 3. So automatically it will be 2j cap only plus 2 minus 4, and p is minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4. So minus minus plus 1. So it will become minus of iota cap plus 2j cap plus 3k cap. Okay. So L will be equals to I j k, this minus 1 2 3, and cross product with VA. And VA is what? VA is 2 iota cap 3 means n is 1 by 3 na. So 2 iota cap plus j cap plus 2 k cap means 2 1 2. So it will be 2 1 2. So solving it we get iota cap 4 minus 3 minus j cap minus 2 minus 6 plus k cap minus 1 minus 4. So now we get L equals to iota plus 8j cap minus 5k cap. So when we find the modulus of this L, so L modulus of this L will be equals to under root of 1 square plus 8 square plus minus of 5 square. So it will be equals to 164 25 means under root of 90. So modulus of L will be equals to under root of 90. So it will be equals to under root of L as given in the question. So here L will be 90. So our answer is L is 90. Okay. Now the next question is 47. The driver sitting inside a parked car is watching vehicles approaching from behind with the help of his side view mirror, which is a convex mirror with radius of curvature r equals to 2 meter. Another car approaches him from behind with a uniform speed of 90 km per hour when the car is at a distance of 24 meter from him. The magnitude of the acceleration of the image of the car is this. So we have to find the value of 100A. Okay. So first of all, this question is from the chapter of optics. Okay. According to the question, there is a parked car. Okay. Means the car it has rest. And the driver is sitting inside the car. So according to question, there is a convex mirror. Convex mirror. This mirror is at rest since the car is parked. So, and radius of curvature is given as 2 meter. Radius is 2 meter means F equals to 1 meter. Okay, another car approaches him from behind with a uniform speed of 90 kilometer per hour. If the speed is 90 kilometer per hour, okay, 90 kilometer per hour means it is 25 meter per second. By multiplying is by 5 over 18. So the car is at a distance of 24 meter. Means let us say O is the object point. So this U equals to 24 meter. Okay. And speed means V naught will be 25 meter per second. Okay. Speed of the object means the car which is coming from behind. So first we will apply the simple mirror formula, that is 1 over V plus 1 over U equals to 1 over F. So first of all, if we will differentiate it, so we get 1 over V square del V over del T, which is Vi actually, velocity of the image part, minus 1 over U square del U over del T, and it is VO, velocity of the object part, it is equals to 0. Okay. So V naught, we know V naught 25 meter per second VI. So to find the VI, since we know that V is equals to UF over U minus F. So to find the VI, it is equals to, so from here, this will become minus of dV by dt, which is VI, into 1 over V square. It will be equals to 1 over U square du over dt. Okay. And we know that Vi is equals to minus of V naught V over U whole square. Okay. From here, this is V naught. This will come here. So it will be V over U whole square. So Vi will be equals to minus of V naught, and V is UF over U minus F. So UF over U minus F whole square. This U cancels out. So Vi is equals to minus of V naught F over U minus F whole square. F is 1 meter and U is 24 meter. So Vi will be equals to minus of V naught. V naught is 25 meter per second. F is 1. U is 24. 24, and it will be minus of U, na? Since it is in this direction. So minus of 24 minus of 1 whole square. So Vi will be equals to minus of 25 into 1 over minus of 25 whole square, means 1 will cancels out. So Vi is equals to minus of 1 over 25 meter per second, means the image is running in this direction, Vi. Okay. Now we have to find the acceleration. So to find the acceleration, double differentiate it. So when we double differentiate it, we get minus of U square. Let us write it as first minus of u square dv by dt, it will be equals to v square du by dt. Now double differentiate it, so we will get acceleration. So minus of 2u du over dt into dv over dt minus of u square into del square v over del t square means ai. It will be equals to 2v dv over dt into du over dt plus v square del square u over del t square means a acceleration of object. Since initially the object it has rest, so it will be 0. Okay, so we can write minus of 2. Now u is 24 minus of 24 because it is in this side of the mirror na, so it will be minus of 24 del v over del t means it is vi and vi is minus of 25. Oh, first del u over del t. Del u over del t, it is 25 meter per second. So into 25 into del v over del t means minus of 25 and minus of u square. U is 24 minus of u square means plus 576 ai. So it will be equals to 2 into v. V into dv over dt. dv over dt means ai na. dv over dt is ai basically. Okay. U square means 24 square into ai equals to, this will become 0. Okay, so it will be 2 into this du by dt and v is, it has first v only, I'm confusing right now, and dv by dt means is minus of 125 minus of 25 into this 25. Okay, we have to find v na. Okay, so for v we use this formula, uf over u minus f. U is 24 into f is 1 over u minus f. U minus f means minus of 24 minus of 1. It will be 24 over minus of 25. So it will be, u is minus na. Minus 24 over 25 means 24 over 25. So in place of v, we will write 24 over 25. Okay. So when we solve it, we get minus this minus will become plus, and this minus will be cancelled out by this minus. So this 25 will cancel out this 25 will cancel out this. So we get 24 into 2, 48 plus 576 ai. It is equals to this v is 24 by 25. So it means 24 into 2, 48 over 25. So it will be 24 2s are 48, 24 2s are 48, and 24 24s are 576. So it will be 24 ai will be equals to 2 over 25 minus of 2. So it will be 24 ai will be equals to, taking 2 common, 1 over 25 minus of 1. So it will be equals to 24 ai. It will be 2 minus of 24 over 25. 24 cancel. So ai is equals to 2 over 25. If we take only magnitude, so ai is 2 over 25. And we have to find the value of 100a. So 100 A means 100 into 2 over 25. 25 fours are 100. So it will be 8. So 8 meter per second square is our answer. Okay. Now question 48. A particle is projected at an angle of 30 degree from the horizontal at a speed of 60 meter per second. This is a particle is projected with a speed of 60 meter per second at an angle of 30 degree. Okay. The height traversed by the particle in the first second is h naught. In first second, the height is h naught, and the height traversed in the last second before it reaches the maximum height is h1 in the last second. So we have to find the ratio of h naught to h1. Okay. So first, what we will do at first, we will find out the initial vertical velocity. So initial vertical velocity will be uy equals to u sine 30 degree. It will be 60 into 1 by 2. Since it is traveling with a speed of 60 meter per second, so it will be 30 meter per second. Okay. Let us say this is equation number 1. So now at maximum height means at here, the vertical velocity will become 0. Okay. So using the equation Vy equals to Uy minus of Gt, and G is given 10 meter per second square. So 0 is equals to, since initial velocity is initial vertical velocity 30 minus 10t. So time will be 30 over 10. It is 3 seconds. Means the total time to reach this maximum height is 3 seconds. Okay, let us say this is equation number 2. Now, again using the equation h naught is equals to uyt plus half ayt square. This is what this we are calculating. This h naught means the height traversed by the particle in the first second. Okay, so it will be uy 30 into t at first second 1 plus half ay minus of 10 into 1 square. Okay, so it will be h naught will be equals to 30 minus of 5. So it will be 25 meter. In the first second, the height will be 25 meter. Now we will calculate the height traversed in the last second before it reaches the maximum height, that is h1. Now h1 will be, again we will use the same equation v by t minus 1 by 2 a by t square. So h1 will be equals to, since at maximum height the final velocity will be 0, minus of 1 by 2 minus 10 into 1 square. So it will be plus of 5 meter. This is equation number 4. And we have to find the ratio of h naught over h1 na. So it will be 25 over 5. So it will be 5 ratio 1. So our answer is 5 ratio 1. Got it? Now the next question is 49. Two soap bubbles of radius 2 centimeter and 4 centimeter respectively are in contact with each other. Let us say there are two soap bubbles. First one is having radius 2 centimeter and second one is having radius 4 centimeter. They are in contact with each other. So the radius of the curvature of the common surface. So we have to find the radius of the curvature of common surface. So it is directly formula based question. It will be R2. Let us say this is R1, R2. So it will be R2 into R1 over R2 minus R1. So it will be equals to 4 into 2 over 4 minus 2. So it will be 4 to the 8 over 2 means 4 centimeter. So the answer is 4 centimeter. Okay. Now next question 50. Three conductors of same length having the thermal conductivity K1, K2 and K3 are connected as shown in the figure. Area of cross sections of first and second conductor are same, and for third conductor it is double of the first conductor. The temperature are given in the figure. Okay. So let us say, according to question, the area of first and second section are same, but the third one is twice that one of first. So let us say third one is having area A. So first one will have area A by 2 and second will also have area A by 2. Okay. Here the temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, theta degrees Celsius and 0 degrees Celsius. So we have to find the value of theta. So first we will write R. Okay, R will be equals to, let us say for K1. If we write here R1, replace this K1, K2, K3 by R1, R2 and R3. So R1 will be equals to what? L over Ka. K is K1 and A is A by 2. And R2 will be equals to L over Ka. So L over K is K2 and area is A by 2. And R3 will be L over K3A. L over K3 into area is A. Okay. Now for these three temperature 100, theta and 0, we can write 100 minus theta. Since these two are in parallel combination, so we will write 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. It will be equals to this theta minus 0, 0 degree over equivalent resistance. Equivalent resistance is R3 only. So it will be 100 minus theta and 1 over R1. R1 is 2L over K1A. 2L over K1 into A plus same R2 is 2L into K2 into A equals to theta over R3. R3 is K3. R3 is L over K3. L over K3 into A. Now we just have to solve it by putting the values of K1, K2 and K3. We will get our desired answer. So it will be 100 minus theta. K1 is 60 into A over 2 into L plus K2 is 120 into A over 2 into L and it is equals to theta. K3 is 135 into A over L. Taking A over L common and cancelling from LHS and RHS. So we get 100 minus theta. It will be 60 over 2 plus 120 over 2. Okay. 12 over K1 है ना? Okay. It will be equals to theta into 135. So this will become 100 minus theta, 30 plus 60 equals to theta into 135 and 30 plus 60 what 90. So 100 minus theta into 90 equals to theta into 135. So from here this will 90 into 100 minus 90 theta equals to 135 theta. So this 9 into 10 to the power 3 equals to 135 theta plus 90 theta. So 9 into 10 to the power 3, it is equals to 5 to 25 theta. So from here, theta is equals to 9 into 10 to the power 3 over 225. So when we solve it, we get theta equals to 3 3s are 9, 3 are 21, 122, 3 5s are 15, and it will be 3 2 is 6, 1 7, 3 5s are 15. It means 100 over 25 into 10. So it will be theta will be equals to 40. So our answer is theta equals to 40 degree Celsius. This is our final.